Hi, friends. Welcome back to the Ohio County Public Library for our story and our activity today. So, remember, we're doing cat books in preparation for Halloween. So, I have two Halloween books today. One, Pumpkin Cat, is not a scary Halloween book, and our other one, Scaredy-Cat Splat, it's just really silly. So I think you're going to like both of those books today. Reminder, emails went out about our Halloween boxes. I just realized I have the wrong banner at the bottom of the screen. So let me switch that over really quick. Sorry about that. I pulled up a banner and an old one popped up that I didn't realize was still in there. So banner at the bottom of the screen reminding you about signups for the Halloween party boxes. Emails went out. So if you were already on my RSVP list for boxes, big people at home who contacted me should have an email waiting so they can let me know how you're going to pick those up. You can start picking them up next Monday, October 26th. Remember, you can get it curbside, so you can let us know what day you're coming. Call us when you get to the parking lot, and we'll bring it to the car. Way number 2, you can come in and check out some books and browse, and while you're here, you can pick up your box. Or way number 3, next Saturday, October 31st on Halloween, you can come to our side parking lot from 10 to 11. We are going to have a little parade coming off of Oak Street out onto 16th Street through our little side parking lot, and we will deliver your box to your car. I'll be wearing my costume. If you want to wear yours, you can do that as well, and that way I'll get to see your Halloween costumes. So all of that is signing up, or is coming up. I'm sorry. If you still need to sign up, info is at the bottom of the screen. I still have some Halloween boxes left. So if you want one, you really do need to get in contact with me this week so we can get your name on a box and make sure that we have one saved for you, okay? We're getting to the point now. We really need that information so that we have yours ready for you. All right, so our Halloween books. I am going to start with the least Halloween books of the two. Pumpkin Cat is really much more about pumpkins than scary Halloween stuff. So we're going to start with that one. This is Pumpkin Cat by Anne Mortimer. Sometimes it's hard to get to the first page of a book, especially when there's a camera going. One morning in May, Cat wondered, how do pumpkins grow? I know, said Mouse, and I will show you how. Cat found some flower pots. What now? Asked Cat. Time to add the soil, said Mouse. So they did. Cat made holes in the soil with her pots. What now? Asked Cat. Time to plant the pumpkin seeds, said Mouse. So they did. Mouse found a watering can. What now? Asked Cat. Time to water the seeds, said Mouse. So they did. They left the pots in a warm, sunny spot. 10 days later, 2 green leaves appeared in each pot. What now? Asked Cat. Time to plant the seedlings outside, said Mouse. So they did. In a few weeks, there were lots of big, prickly leaves and big yellow papery flowers covered in pollen. Lots of bees came and buzzed between the flowers. What now? Asked Cat. We just watch, said Mouse. So they did. By midsummer, each plant had a fuzzy little green pumpkin. Caw, 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 called some big crows. What now? Asked Cat. We need to make a scarecrow, said Mouse. So they did. By October, the pumpkins were very big and very orange. What now? Asked Cat. Time to pick our pumpkins, said Mouse. So they did. Now, said Mouse, I'm going to make you a surprise. What do you think the surprise is going to be? Think it's going to be a pumpkin pie? Miss Leanne loves pumpkin pie. I don't know. What do you think? You have an idea? Okay, let's find out. Happy Halloween. Look, he carved a cat pumpkin for his friend. And at the end of our story is some information on how to grow pumpkins. Have you ever grown a pumpkin or thought about growing a pumpkin? It's pretty fun. Miss Leanne grew pumpkins this summer, so I can tell you, they take up a lot of room. They grow everywhere. But I have 3 pumpkins that I grew myself this year, which was really, really exciting. It was fun to watch them all summer long. But you do definitely need to grow them someplace where you have lots of room. But the steps that they went through in our book, remember they had their seeds and they put some potting soil in some pots and they planted their seeds and they watered them and they put them in a warm, sunny spot. And then when they got a couple leaves on their new little plant, they took it outside and they planted it. It's pretty much the steps of growing anything. So maybe you don't have room for pumpkins, but maybe you have room for sunflowers or marigolds or green beans or something else that would be really fun to grow. So I hope you enjoyed Pumpkin Cat and maybe you got some ideas of what you could do. Do you know how Miss Leanne planted her pumpkins? I put my pumpkins outside after Halloween and Thanksgiving last year, the ones I didn't carve, and I left them in the yard so that over winter, if any animals needed something to eat, or when they started to break down, if any birds needed some seeds, they could come and get those from the pumpkins that were in my side yard. And some of those seeds got down into the dirt and grew, and now we have pumpkins again this year. And I think it's probably what I'm going to do with my pumpkins at the end of this season, too, because it was really fun to watch. All right, so our next story is Scaredy-Cat Splat by Rob Scotton. This is one of my favorite authors. We don't read a lot of Scaredy-Cat or of Splat. But Splat's really fun. So if you haven't read a Splat book, I think you will like them. Mom, cried Splat, there's a scary spider on my jack-o'-lantern. I'm going to turn our camera just a little bit so you can see more of the pictures and I can still read the words, okay? He's small and hairy with really funny eyes. Splat's voice wobbled with worry. But you're small and hairy with really funny eyes, said Mom. Splat thought for a moment. But I haven't got 8 legs, he replied. If you had, maybe you'd be a scary spider too, teased his mom. Splat made a scary spider face. Splat's mom caught the spider under a glass jar. Splat looked closely at the spider. It didn't look so scary now that it was trapped. Can I take the spider to school for Halloween? Asked Splat. We've all made jack-o'-lanterns and everyone is dressing up in costumes. And Mrs. Whippy Dimple is going to tell a ghost story and there's a prize for the scariest cat and I want to be the scariest cat. So please, can I take the spider to school? Please, he added without taking a break. Okay, said his mom. Where's your Halloween costume? Asked his mom. Splat pulled a broom from the closet and sat astride it. Ha! Look at me! I'm a scary witch's cat, cried Splat, racing around the kitchen. You certainly are scary, said his mom. Then disaster struck. Splat tripped over his tail, and with a crack, the broom handle snapped in two. His scary witch's cat costume was ruined. Now I've got nothing to wear, Splat groaned. Even Seymour couldn't console him. Splat's mom had an idea. She stuffed some old socks with scrunched up newspaper and tied them to Splat with string. There, she said. Splat looked in the mirror and jumped back with a squeal. Oh, I scared myself, he said. He looked again, and this time he smiled. Look at me, he cried, waving his sock legs. I'm a big, scary sock spider. Splat placed his jack-o'-lantern and spider on his wagon and set off to school. On the way, he met Spike dressed as a mummy and Plank dressed as a skeleton. They're pretty scary, said Splat. Seymour nodded and trembled a little. But I'm scary, scarier, said Splat. Splat made his scariest spider face and growled, grrr. Spike and Plank didn't even blink. Instead, boo! Cried Spike. Boo! Cried Plank. Splat yelped and jumped high in the air and landed in a heap. Aw, Splat sighed. Spike and Plank are both scarier than me. Seymour nodded and trembled a little bit more. I'll never win the prize for scariest cat, said Splat. The sock spider, the skeleton, and the mummy continued on their way to school. In class, everyone showed their jack-o'-lanterns. Splat's jack-o'-lantern made everyone laugh. Ah, Splat sighed. I'll never win the prize for scariest cat. Seymour shook his head. Everyone placed flashlights in their jack-o'-lanterns, and Mrs. Wimpy Dimple turned down the lights and whispered in her best ghost story voice. In the dark, dark wood, there's a dark, dark house. In the dark, dark house, there's a dark, dark room. In the dark, dark room, there's a dark, dark box. And in the dark, dark box, there's a ghost! Mrs. Wimpy Dimple cried. The class jumped with fright. Splat was so startled that his tail whipped around and sent his jack-o'-lantern spinning through the air. And what goes up must come down. Splat! Unable to see anything, Splat stumbled around the classroom. Oh! Everyone shrieked as the pumpkin head glared at them and made strange hoo-hooing noises. Mrs. Wimpy Dimple turned on the lights and lifted up the wayward jack-o'-lantern. The shrieking turned to laughter as Splat fell out. Calm down, hushed Mrs. Wimpy Dimple. Now, class, who should win the prize for being the scariest cat? Splat! They all cheered. The end. So see, it all worked out for Splat. He got to be the scariest cat after all. Now, we have a craft today. I think this is a fun one. And again, things that you can probably find around your house. So, we are going to make a cat silhouette. Do you know what a silhouette is? Think of in the evening, maybe, when things are getting a little bit dark outside and you have someone standing like in front of you, kind of far away, and you can really only see them as a dark shape. You can really only see like the outline of their body because of the light on the other side of them. So that is a silhouette. We are going to make a black cat. He's really only a black cat because he's a silhouette of a cat. So it would be like we were looking at the back side of our cat. Now, to make a silhouette, we are going to take some black construction paper and we are going to, I made 2 of these. So we are going to fold it in half. That's why my paper's a little big. I'm going to fold mine in half one more time. And I drew half of a cat. So my bottom here is kind of folded the wrong directions. Let's fold that back. Okay, so we have the outline of the cat. We have the top of his head, his pointed ear, the side of his face, side of his body. There's his leg, and then down here for the tail. I drew that with a pencil and then I cut it out. Now, remember, we folded this in half. So when we unfold it and take our cat shape, look what we get. We get a cat with 2 tails. Now, I did that on purpose to show you so we could include that tail on there in our silhouette. But we don't want a cat with 2 tails, do we? Well, just trim one of them off so that now we have our black cat with his 1 tail instead of 2 tails. So I have my silhouette. I have my cat outline. Now, I just used black construction paper. What if you don't have black construction paper? You could use a regular sheet of paper and color it. That would work. You could use maybe a brown paper bag. You sometimes get those at the grocery store. That would work really well. Actually, then you could color it black. That would be perfect if you don't have black paper laying around. So I'm going to put our cat to the side. And I also used some blue construction paper. Again, if you don't have blue construction paper, use a white piece of paper and color the way you want. So I took, because my cat is small, I only used a half a sheet of paper. So you can see we are going to attach our cat to our blue piece of paper. It's kind of boring, right? I agree. It's kind of boring. So what I did, I cut my paper in half. So I did two different scenes. Now my first scene is just a fence in black, because we're going to be seeing the silhouette of the fence too. And then in the background, like it's just getting dark, I have some green trees and I have kind of like a sunset and I have our moon. So that when I put our kitty cat on here, you're going to glue him down. I'm just going to hold him. But you see the idea that you were maybe walking outside. It's too dark to really see a whole lot of detail on the cat and on the fence, but you can see his outline because it's still really light behind him in the sky. So that's our non-scary Halloween version. You can make any kind of outline you want. It doesn't have to be a cat, but it's cat week, so it had to be a cat for me. Our other picture, the other half of my construction paper, I did a Halloween scene. So I really only used a black crayon and a white crayon. I made my moon with some bats in front of it. I made like a creepy tree that doesn't have any leaves and a house over there on the hill. And now we can put our kitty cat. Let's see where we go put him. I know I kind of put that house in a bad spot. He doesn't have to be all the way on the paper. He could kind of be hanging off to the side, I think. I think that looks kind of cool. So same thing. We've got him on there. And now we kind of have a creepy Halloween scene with our black cat. Maybe we'll put him over here on the other side so you can see the whole house and the whole tree. And there he is. So you can do either way. You can do just a regular night scene. You can do the creepier Halloween scene. Whatever you would like. You could do your paper, your silhouette. Maybe you wanted to make it a person. Maybe you wanted to make it a bat or a pumpkin or cornstalk, house. You can make it anything you want to make it. So that was our activity for today. I hope you enjoyed. I liked both of our stories. I hope you liked the craft, or at least gave you some ideas as some things that you can use with stuff laying around your house. And again, if you don't have construction paper, just use whatever kind of paper you have. You can always color it in. What if you had chalk? I was thinking this when I was coloring mine with crayon. They don't have any colored chalk in my office today, but I think colored chalk would be really pretty because you could blend these colors really well. Have you ever used chalk on a piece of paper and then you kind of rub it with a finger and it all blends together? That could be really cool. You could also, thinking ahead, these would make a really cool winter scene. Maybe you could use your white to draw a moon and black to draw some trees and stuff. And then if it's a winter scene, you could draw some white snow and maybe put a silhouette of something. If you were going to do something wintry, maybe you could do like a pine tree or something like that in front of. Just some ideas, some things to get you thinking so that if you have some art supplies laying around and some spare time and you want to make something cool, hopefully you can use some of those ideas today. All right, that is the end of our story and activity for today. Don't forget, next week, Halloween stories. So I will be back with you Monday morning for toddler time at 10:30. We'll be doing a Halloween book. I'm trying to think. Let me look. Oh, the scariest thing in the castle is next Monday. I forgot. You'll like that one. That's a cool book. So, lots of fun Halloween stuff going on all week. So, our stories and story times and everything will be all Halloween themed next week. Don't forget Halloween party boxes. Drop me an email and let me know if you need one, and have big people let me know when you are going to be picking those up. Next Saturday, October 31st at 1 o'clock on Facebook, Ohio County Public Library, or on YouTube at OCPL Kids, we will be having our virtual Halloween party. So hopefully 1 o'clock on Saturday, maybe you're having your Saturday lunch as you get ready to think about trick-or-treating Saturday night. You can pop onto the internet and have a little party with us. So all right, guys, I hope you enjoyed the activity today. I know I enjoyed spending a little bit of time with you, even if we didn't get to do it in person. I will see you very soon. Bye-bye, guys. Thank you. Hope you have a great day.